From the studios of Foxborough Cable Access, located in the center of Foxborough, Massachusetts, you are watching Around Foxborough.
Hi everyone, I'm Jared Craig. Welcome to this evening's episode of Around Foxborough. I am joined tonight by Terry Lawton of the Lawton's Family Farm, as well as the Knoll Ayrshires and Foxborough Cheese. And Terry, thank you so much for giving us some of your time this evening. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you mind if I start off by just asking? I know I live right down the street from you, or from your farm at least. And can you tell me the difference between the Lawton Family Farm, the Knoll Ayrshires, and the Foxborough Cheese?
Yeah, so it's kind of a long story. We started making cheese in 2009 under the Foxborough Cheese Company. And then my husband and I took over 2 years ago, and we decided to consolidate everything under the Knoll Farms name. So my grandfather actually had, he had signs around that I found as a kid that said Knoll Farms. And I went to him, I said, Grampy, why do we have these signs? He says, well, that's what this place was called. So when he was a kid, it was Knoll Farms. And then his name was Lawton. His father was a Lawton, but his mother was a Morse. So before it was a Lawton's farm, it was Knoll Farm. So we're kind of going back to the roots there.
Oh, that's really cool. I'm glad I asked. I never knew that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I've also noticed on your sign out front of the barn that it says you're a dairy of distinction. I know that you had at one point served as dairy inspector for the state. Can you talk a little bit about what a dairy of distinction is, and then maybe a little bit about your job as an inspector?
Yeah, so those are two different things. So the Dairy of Distinction is an award that they give out for farms that have good management, good quality products, just overall, good dairy. Now, when I was a dairy inspector, I actually worked for the Commonwealth. Going from farm to farm to farm, I had like 120 farms that I would inspect for sanitation, actually take apart the equipment and look inside and make sure that everything was getting cleaned properly, that the cows were being housed properly, and basically ensuring that the milk going into the food supply met a certain level of standards they call grade A.
So is it safe to assume that your experience as a dairy inspector sort of informed your future career at, producing the milk that you produce? And
yeah, partly. I mean, I went to school at Purdue and took a lot of dairy science classes there. We had dairy products, we made cheese, we made cream cheese, yogurt, all these things at school that, you take a crash course and just study a bunch of stuff, which, then when you're actually doing it every day, it's completely different. But yeah, so I had a minor in food safety at Purdue. And so that really springboarded me into the, the dairy inspector position. So all the microbiology and, stuff that people don't really think about when they think about farming, but there's so much science that goes into it. And, so that background at Purdue really gave me the tools that I needed in order to be effective, with the state.
That's amazing.
And also with the farm here now, because it's all about cleaning. It's all about keeping things clean, quality products. The cleaner you are with the cows and the milk, the better the cheese is going to taste, the better the yogurt's going to taste. And, that's so core to what we're doing is that quality, having a high quality product.
Well, as someone who's bought your cheese in the past, it's so nice to hear that too. And I think I'll speak for myself and say I can taste the difference. I think your product is top notch. So thanks for all that you do to make it that way. Do you mind if we talk a little bit about raw milk? I know I first became aware of it in sort of the early 2000s when it sort of became like kind of trendy, like celebrities were like driving to Seattle to get some raw milk. Why is it so special? Why is it sort of, I think you're only one of 6, as far as my research could tell, dairies that are allowed to sell raw milk. Why is there this sort of about this in America? I feel like in Europe, it's not quite that way.
Right. Well, in Europe, it's very common people drink raw milk. So there's a lot of different ways we could go at that question. I mean, when we talk about why pasteurization ever started, back in the 20s, we didn't really know too much about germs yet. When someone had TB, they were kind of sent to the country to recuperate, which is great, get the good country air. But the problem was that they were being sent to dairy farms, and then so they were milking cows and then sending this milk back into the city. So obviously that's a big no-no. We know that now. So the technology we have now is very different. The knowledge we have now about germs and how illness is spread is so different. For example, one of the big things that they were trying to combat with pasteurization was brucellosis, and brucellosis has been eradicated from Massachusetts dairy cows. It's funny, I have the certificate of eradication from my grandfather back in the 50s. So, so things that were issues back then aren't necessarily issues right now. However, pasteurization is an easy way to ensure a consistent quality product when you're taking milk from, hundreds of different farms and shipping it, several states away in a tanker truck. And, so that's where, for most of agriculture, it makes sense. What we're doing is completely different. Our milk all comes from our own cows, that we've raised here in Foxborough. They graze on the grass in Foxborough. We're having to be super diligent about our hygiene in the barn and in the milking equipment and in the bottling. And because of that, we're able to meet the same bacteria standards that you could get, that you would have to meet for pasteurized milk.
Oh, wow. So you're actually held to the same standard, even though it's a much more difficult process. Yeah.
So we're held to the same standards, and it's actually much stricter standards than, like, say, ice cream or shellfish. Things like that. They don't have to be nearly as clean as what we do.
Sure. Can I just walk into your store today and buy raw milk?
Yep, absolutely. As long as we don't sell out first.
As long as you what? Don't sell out?
Yeah.
Is it tough to keep it on the shelves? It's that popular because so many people are trying to buy it.
Yeah, some days some days it depends on what's going on. Like these hot days, the cows have been a little bit making less milk. And then when people, obviously when people come in and buy it, then, there's only so much we have in the day. So that if the cows only make, say, 50 gallons a day, that's all there is. So
you sell it till it's gone.
Yeah.
You also sell meat, all grass-fed beef, correct?
Yeah.
So can you explain quickly why grass-fed beef is so important, and what's the alternative? Grain-fed beef?
Well, the grass-fed beef, we made a commitment back in 2006 to be focused on the grazing aspect of with the dairy herd and beef herd, and that is basically there's these good fats they call conjugated linoleic acid, which basically means that it's something that when you eat it, it actually makes it reduces your chance of getting cancer. And there's a whole bunch of research out there about it. And honestly, some of my customers know a lot more about it than I do.
But so all of your beef stock and your dairy stock are all grass fed, correct?
Yeah, we have basically anything that says Oak Knoll Farms in the farm stand is from our farm. Yep.
Cool. That's great. And I believe you guys, I don't know about this year because I've been away, but you used to do the farm stand in downtown Foxborough on the Common. Are you doing that this year as well, or where?
We are not. No, we're so short on labor. We have to really be picking and choosing what we do. So
can you talk about that? Why are you short on labor? Is it pandemic related? Is it everyone's looking for job? I mean, everyone's looking to hire right now, or a combination of the two? Probably
a little bit of a combination of the two. without getting too off focus, it's really hard to compete with the kind of unemployment benefits that are being offered for people. So we just haven't had as much luck with recruiting people, being a farm and, the returns that we don't have a unlimited budget. So
Sure. But so
I wish we did.
you're hiring though, so someone could
Yeah.
Look you up and apply on either your website or your phone number?
Yeah.
Great.
Or
Can
walk
you
into the farm stand.
or walk into the farm stand? What are the hours for the farm stand?
The farm stand's open from 10 to 6 every day.
Sundays too?
Yes.
Awesome. Great. Thanks. And I believe you have your phone number on your shirt. It's 864 raw milk.
Yep.
Perfect.
And we have a website too, oaknollfarms.com.
Great. And you can order directly on that website as well, can't you?
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Perfect.
And we do pre-orders, we package them. During the pandemic, we were, bringing them out to your car, when everything was shut down. So.
Yeah. So I know my wife and kids and I have been there several times. You sell more than just beef. I think that we saw there's some pork options, seafood options. There's even some vegetables and flowers when we were there.
Yeah.
Are those all from you guys, or from?
Not all of them. Some of the products we partner with other farms. Like for example, the pork, we did have our own, but then because of the pandemic, we weren't able to get pork processed. So we're actually partnering with a farm, people that I've known for 20 plus years up in Vermont, and they do a nice job with their pork. Some of the other things that we sell this cheese. This is our Foxborough hard cheese.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's a new product. So this is actually, we made this last summer. And
it's a hard cheese? Is it similar to?
Yeah. It's like an alpine cheese made from the peak of the grazing season. This is really awesome cheese. If you haven't had it, you need to come down and try this.
I might stop on the way home. That sounds great.
It is. It is.
It's a hard cheese. Can you tell me what kind of popular cheese it might be similar to?
Probably similar to like a Parmesan, that kind of thing. Last summer, the grazing season was so good. We had so much milk, and we were trying to figure out what are we going to do with all this milk, so we were experimenting with different types of cheeses, and this is one of our experiments. So it's one of those things where we're talking about slower foods, foods that we're not going to find out the results for a year. And so now we took it out and tasted it, and it is really, really good.
So how new is that?
We debuted that at our open house on the 26th. So, but
all right,
it's all grass-fed Foxborough.
Absolutely, and it's called Foxborough hard cheese.
Foxborough hard cheese.
All right, I swear to you, I'm gonna stop and pick some up on the way home. That sounds great.
Yeah, I'm excited.
What other products do you have? I know you'd mentioned the cream cheeses, which I think we've bought from you all before. We've mentioned the raw milk. We now have the hard cheese. Do you have a variety of cheeses, or does it depend on the season?
Well, this hard cheese is seasonal. We have the fromage blanc, which is a French spreadable cheese. We're making feta today. We have feta that we sell that's usually very popular during the summer.
Nice.
And yeah, it's a nice feta. There's so many different variations of these cheeses, and anytime you can try feta, but every place that makes it, it's a little different. So, and then we have the cream cheese. We also sell Gouda, Havarti, mozzarella. Just about any kind of cheese you can think of.
That's great. You mentioned your open houses. I know you do that fairly consistently. When are those, and how do we get an invite?
Well, they're pretty much open to the public. You can come in and check us out I think we're planning one for September. We haven't set the date yet, so we have to check out the game schedule and all that. We don't want to mix it up with the game.
The whole town is, at the whim of the football team. So, do you put that on your website, on your Facebook page? Where can we find that?
Yeah, we do. Yep, we do put it on our website, our Facebook page, and then we'll put it on a sign out front. North Street. Everybody drives down North. Well, many people drive down North Street, so we get a lot from that too.
Cool. Do you also have Instagram or Twitter or anything like that?
We do have Instagram, Facebook, and I think I sent you some links, but anyways, it's oakknollfarms.com, and it's OAKE, spelled the old way,
Great. I know you have an email sign up as well, correct?
Yeah, the email, you can actually email right off the website. If you go to the website or the Facebook, you can email in that way too. Great.
You've mentioned the slow food movement, and we've talked actually quite a bit about cheeses, but it strikes me as interesting that you sort of trained as a farmer, and now you're also having to learn this whole other side of sort of, I don't know, like restauranteering or chefing is the right phrase, but you also have to be a food connoisseur. Can you talk a little bit about like how that balance plays out on your everyday life?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I wouldn't even call it balance. We're just focused completely on good food and slow food. Stuff like I found this German sausage maker, and we drive 4 hours to have our beef made into these German sausages. So we can Frankfurters. You're not allowed to call them hot dogs. Frankfurters, kielbasa, knockwurst, stuff that you just can't get anywhere. It just crisps when you open, when you cut it open, and I don't know, it's just the center of everything, really, because when we get to farming's fun, but really it's about the food. So
interesting. So how did you find this person, and what makes their process something that you are attracted to?
Well, I don't even know how I found them. It's been probably 15 years since we've been working with them. But he speaks with a German accent, and there's just such a strong feel of authenticity when you go into his shop. He has he gives my kids like the little German candies, things like that you can't get here, anywhere else. It's just this old world feel in the whole shop. He has the sausages hanging and all this stuff. And, and for us, we're controlled a lot by regulation. So the fact that they're USDA certified, I could sell those hot dogs in any grocery store or any restaurant, anywhere in the United States. And that just has a big appeal because we're very limited by the regulatory environment too.
Sure. And so do you actually sell at local grocery stores around here? Or can we only buy it at the farms?
Mostly, yeah, at our farm stand here. And then I work with a couple other farm stands in the area so far. So, but we're always looking for new people that want to carry our products.
Great. And you're looking for employees as well. So we'll be sure to pass the word on that. We've talked a little bit about the hardships of the pandemic. I remember, I want to say it was like May or June, there was somewhat of a national meat shortage. Did that affect you? And did you see, a rise in customers locally or even regionally?
Yeah, actually, it didn't affect us in terms, like, we didn't have a shortage. We had meat. And so it was a matter of getting the word out to people that, like, hey, there's nothing at the grocery store, but we have product. So, please come in. And, so that was, that was part of our challenge, was how do we communicate to these people that, don't necessarily usually seek out this higher quality product, but don't have any other source right now. And so, so that was definitely something that we were glad to be able to reach as many people as we were, and to provide food for the community when other resources weren't able to. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do know that we are just about out of time. I actually have to run and make a stop at the farm stand on the way home. But is there anything else that you want the people of Foxborough to know about your family, your farm, your animals that we didn't cover today?
Yeah, so one of the things that I did want to touch on is that we're actually doing a fundraiser to help build a new barn. So I told you my husband and I just took over, and the facilities are a little outdated. So we're hoping to raise enough money to build a new barn that we can put modern farming equipment into, so that we can continue to be part of the community for the foreseeable future.
That's great. Is that going to be a barn specifically for the cows, or to sell your product out of? What is the hope?
It's going to be for the cows and for the processing, for making better cheese. And we're hoping to make it open so that people can actually come to the farm, see the cows getting milked, and then on one side the cows are getting milked, and then the milk goes over to the other side, and they're able to watch the cheese being made over here. So, and then it's such a neat process to see how that transforms. It's not just from the grocery store, but it's actually from the earth, the food that we're eating comes from the earth by the cows and the milk and the cheese and yogurt. So
that's amazing. Well, it seems like your animals truly have a happy life, and so it's nice to see that the product that they produce tastes good, looks good, and seems to be sustainable and well done. So thank you for all the hard work that you and your family are doing and have done in the past, and we hope you continue to do for a long time to come.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Well, thanks. This has been Terry Lawton with Oak Knoll Farms. Is that okay to say? Lawton's,
sounds great.
Lawton Farm.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much for your time, Terry. I just want to give a couple of thanks before we leave. We have to thank our executive director, Michael Weber, our television director, Paul Beck, our editor, Joshua Lovering, our executive producer, Jerry Love, and our programmer, Lauren Batar. My name is Jared Craig. I'm your host for Around Foxborough this evening, and we've been here with Terry Lawton. Terry, thanks again for your time, and we appreciate you coming out to talk to us.
Yeah, well, thank you.
All right. Talk soon.
Yep, see ya.
Bye.
Bye.